Hi, Mark here. Friday, January the 9th, 7:40 a.m. Eastern, 12:40 p.m. GMT. Half an hour until the US session gets underway, but more relevant and important is about an hour away at 8:30 a.m. Eastern is the non-farm payroll, the job numbers out of the US. This is the first real significant data release of the new year and coming at a very relevant time, especially for the US dollar. We have consensus numbers for 57,000 new jobs and for the employment rate to come down to 4.5%. But I've seen the disparity in the various expectations, predictions that I'm seeing from the different financial organizations, and it's very varied. JP Morgan's looking at 75,000 new jobs, unemployment 4.6%. Jeffries is looking at 155,000 new jobs and unemployment to come down to 4.3%. Citi is looking at 75,000 new jobs and unemployment to go up to 4.7%. And because of the disparity and because there's so many different opinions here, my personal opinion is we are going to see shocks, and I think we could even see alterations to the numbers following the initial release. And bearing in mind that on January the 27th is the first FOMC, the Fed interest rate decision expected to cut rates, but possibly if we get some surprises today, maybe that can change, or maybe the numbers today will confirm the expected rate cut. I just believe that it's coming at a relevant time. It's the start of the new year. We've still got weak US dollar. Weak US dollar certainly is and has been fighting its way back, and today could add to that, to US dollar strength, if we see numbers that lend itself to the US dollar continuing to strengthen. But by the same token, it could be the start of a turnaround where we go from this strong start we've seen at the beginning of the year in the US to turning things around and back to what we had the whole of 2025, which was a weak US dollar. So definitely significant numbers to watch for today. And as I say, that's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Let's have a look where we stand right now before the US session gets underway. US dollar index, another strong day today. You can see that. I've got support at 98.64. I've got resistance at 98.84, matching the highs from last month, from the beginning of December. Probably hang around these numbers for now, waiting for the non-farm payroll to come out. But these are the levels going in. Buyers will be looking to get above that 98 and to 99 or higher. Sellers, of course, if we see a sell-off in the US dollar, will look to come back under that 98, at first to get back to that 98 level where it was hanging around for much of the end of last year. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. Not much going on, hanging around. Yesterday was sold off early, but buyers did step in and closed pretty much in line with the previous day. Hang around those levels today. Buyers will look up at the 7,000 if there's going to be demand for equities, if that's the pattern we see following the non-farm payroll and Wall Street opening up in over an hour's time. That's we're still a good hour away from, almost an hour and a half away from Wall Street opening up. If there's going to be weak uh, equity markets and a sell-off, then the support down here would be below the 6,900, looking down at these levels. Could well take its cue from the US dollar once US dollar pattern and trend has been established for the day. Let's have a look at gold. Gold pretty flat today. Yesterday sold off early, then buyers did step in. Today hanging in a very tight range. 4,452 is the support and 4,480 resistance. Uptrend still intact. Demand for Gold certainly still there. There has been some profit taking, and for now seems to be hanging around this level. Again, could well take its cue from the US dollar and its performance today. Buyers will be looking up at this resistance level if we do see gold rally, and that could go hand in hand with the weak US dollar. Alternatively, if there's a sell-off and we see gold being a sell-off in gold, the support level here, or at least another test or break below the 4,450 level, seems to be where gold sellers will be looking. Let's have a look at oil. Had a strong day yesterday. We saw a rally in oil, very strong. You can see broke above certainly the intraday resistance, broke above the descending trend line all the way up to just under $63, 62.81. So far today, sold off a little, but kind of back where it started, sitting at 62.42 for now. Buyers, of course, would look to break above yesterday's resistance. Next level on the upside would be from the beginning of December, and that is at the $64 level. Sellers will look down to break below $62, support sitting at 61.80. Bitcoin, the downtrend continuing. Bias definitely tilted to the downside. I can even see my EMAs have just crossed following today's early push lower. Buyers have stepped in, we'll see, but bias for me does appear down, and buyers just don't seem to be able to break above that 94 level. Sellers step in strong every time. Well, so far, certainly at the start of this year. I've got support sitting at 89.5 thousand. I've got resistance at 91.5 thousand. Narrow $2,000 range for now. A long way to go. We'll see in the US session where the buyers can step in, get back up to test, challenge that 94,000, or if sellers look to add to the losses that we saw yesterday, even though they were reversed, but started off again, looking down today and want to get below that 90,000 level. Lots to look forward to today. We've got levels to work with. Watch out for the upcoming data, the non-farm payrolls at 8:30 Eastern, and patience, discipline, and as I've always have said before, when the non-farm payroll comes out, sometimes I think good to let the dust settle a little, go to the shorter time frames, let some kind of pattern or trend emerge, and good trading. I'll see you at the end of today's session.